Well, I thought we'd take this opportunity, since you weren't able to come to a lesson this week because you're having fun in Florida, to go over a few things in your theory book, since we never seem to get to have time to do that. So I know that your brother used some of the beginning of the book, but I'd like you to push pause and get your theory book, and then when you've got it, I want to go over a couple of things with you. So first of all, page 4 has a little activity that helps you review the concept of motives and sequence. And if you remember, we played motives in sequence when we were doing the Fiesta España, for instance, where you're just playing the same pattern, but you're doing it you're just changing it either a step down or a step up from the original one, and that's just the essence of sequence. And on this activity, which I think David already showed you which ones were which, but I think it would be helpful for you to just kind of look at the ones that match and see, does it look like it's starting on the note higher or the note lower, just to kind of use your eyes to figure out some of that. So take a minute now, push pause again, and just go over those to make sure that you have a good feeling for what you think, to understand motive and sequence. Alright, with your book still open to that same spot, let's look at page 5. And I don't think that I did the listening activity, and I'm not sure that your dad did it with David either. So the listening activity, I am supposed to play a motive, and then you listen and see, does the motive sound like it happens again in a sequence or not. So you're going to have, if you see on page 5 near the bottom, 4 boxes that are kind of yellowish, orangish, and sequence or not sequence, and you're going to circle which one. After I give you a second to try to answer, I will give you the answer. If you needed time to unplay them twice, because usually you can figure it out in 2 times. If you need to, though, push pause, rewind, or whatever if you're having trouble figuring it out. But I think they're pretty easy. So your first one, this will be in box number 1. Here's your motive, and sequence or not a sequence. So here it is again. And the answer is a sequence, because you hear that it just went down a step and then did the exact same intervals the same way. All right, here's number 2. And again, your motive and your sequence. And that one is not a sequence. Could you tell that it didn't do the same thing? It would have needed to go up and then back down, but this went up like that, so it's not a sequence. All right, here's another one. And again, is obviously not a sequence. It had the same notes but in a different order. Alright, here's number 4. So we've had number 1 is a sequence, 2 is not, 3 is not, and here's number 4. And again. And that one is a sequence. Good. Now, before you leave your theory book, I would like you to try to do the harmonizing of the mountain climbing. It's a sequential melody. If you notice, they're going to, you can probably tell by looking at the first 2 measures, they just keep going up a step. And then it says do the same sequence starting on C, and then D, and so forth until you get up to A again. So it's in A minor, like we've been working in your lesson book. And you're then going to use a pencil and circle whether you think it sounds best. They told you the first one sounds best with a minor tonic chord. Now I think you'll know that's not the best choice. So you need to pick between a minor 4 chord, or you could also go to the dominant 7 chord. And those are just kind of how you like the sound of it. This, I think, normally I say try to figure out where the notes are with the chord, and they do have that at the top of the page. In the little box they show you what notes are in each one of the chords, so if you need reference like that. But this, they're asking you, if you see that bullet point number 2, it says this one they want you to try to use your ear and see if you can tell which chord sounds the best to your ear, and then circle that one. Then go back through and they would like you to write, first of all, you're going to write the sequence. So finish writing just like those first 2 measures in the rest of them. And then after you have picked the chord that you like, then write that blocked chord in that measure. Notice it should happen because they want it in whole notes, so write the chord underneath the first beat so that it all lines up correctly. If you need a reference on how to write the 4 chord or how to write the 5/7 chord, look at the top box again. So hopefully that will all make sense to you, and hopefully you'll get a chance to do it before you come to your next lesson so I can check it. If not, don't stress over it. Sometimes people don't get these videos done right away, which I try to make things that aren't necessarily essential to have to do at the next lesson. So I know when you've been having fun on vacation, you're not thinking about theory when you get home probably. So anyway, work on those 2 pages if you would in your theory.